Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bob and Fishy. Welcome back to PICA Season 3. So today, this is week 3, and we are up against Cedric and the DMR Shadow Absols. Now this dude, okay, he hasn't been doing amazingly well this season. However, he's had a couple of close matches. I know his first week match was against like Red Matt 80, and he kind of got hacked, but he also got outplayed. It happens. I mean, Matt's really good. Week 2 was actually a super competitive match. I think he lost it like 1-0. It was close. I don't want it to be close against me. Now, he actually beat me last season, and it was a really, really upsetting one. His record overall wasn't super good, and he beat me while I was on a bit of a run. I was doing pretty good, lost, kept doing pretty good, and then lost at the end and didn't make the playoffs because of it. So those losses really, pretty much the loss against him really hurt my playoff chances, which I was super bummed about. So obviously, I want a little bit of revenge. Now, he's been saying he was going to 6-0 me all week. I don't want to get 6-0'd. But I think I have a pretty good matchup against this team. So let's go ahead and check out teams. Now, you guys know my Philly Shuckles. Thunderous Therian, Mega Manectric, Jirachi, Suicune, Heracross, Nidoqueen, Rotom, Mo, Golurk, Sigilif, Zoroark, and Blaziken. Blaziken has to run Blaze. Everything else is really Volt Switch, or Volt Turn heavy. Got U-Turn on Jirachi, U-Turn on Zoroark. I have Baton Pass on Blaziken if I need to. And then, Volt Switch on Thundurus, Mega Manectric, and Rotom Mo. That's kind of the goal for the team. I have some nice ground types. Golurk and Nidoqueen, they're both pretty good. Heracross is my good physical attacker. Suicune's a really nice mix, pretty much just a Wally guy who can set up really nice. And then Sigilif, another kind of Wally guy that can set up. I'm not really going to bring that this time, so let's go ahead and check out his team, and you'll see why. So, his team, Mega Slowbro, Thundurus Incarnate, so that's the Genie one. Mandibuzz, Chandelure, Machamp, Slurpuff, Electrode, Mew, Aerodactyl, Duoblade, and Ambipom. Now, I'm going to go through those again. You're going to tell me if you see anything important. Mega Slowbro, Thundurus Incarnate, Mandibuzz, Chandelure, Machamp, Slurpuff, Electrode, Mew, Aerodactyl, Duoblade, and Ambipom. He has one electric resist on his entire team, and it's Electrode. Electrode can't take hits, meaning that his team is incredibly electric weak. Even if they don't necessarily have a weakness to it, I have enough really powerful electric types that I can put huge dents in his stuff just through Volt Switching. That's going to be a huge asset for me. I'm going to be able to bring in my electric types, Volt Switch on him, get nice Switch initiative, go into something that walls him, repeat. That's going to be the plan here. So, we're going to go ahead and check out what he's got specifically and what I'm going to bring to counter it. Now, Mega Slowbro. Mega Slowbro is a very nasty Calm Mind user because you can't crit it. And that's kind of the big thing against anything that sets up defensive boosts, is that you can kind of hope to crit on them. Mega Slowbro's ability, I think it's called, oh god, what's it called? Shell Armor? Something like that. Makes it so you can't crit him. Now, that's going to be really important. So if he gets a couple of Calm Minds up, I'm not going to be able to kill him with the Volt Switches that I like. That said, I'm still bringing all my electric types because they're really good. So I'm bringing Thundurus Therian, Mega Manectric, and Rotom Mo, and just throw on Volt Switch on all of them. Now, Thundurus is going to be my Scarfer. He doesn't really have anything that'll outspeed that, unless he decides to put a Scarf on, like, Aerodactyl or Ambipom, I think. Or Thundurus Incarnate, but he's not going to do that. Anyways, yeah, those are the only things that he could potentially outspeed with. If I look at his team, the thing that lends itself to Scarf most is his Chandelure. I don't think he's going to Scarf a Shandy. He might Scarf a Shandy. I don't think he's going to Scarf anything else. And if he does, I'm not really worried about that. So, Scarfed Thundurus Therian, going to be really good. Mega Manectric, pretty standard Mega set, but it's got Intimidate. He's got a lot of physical attackers. I felt like that would be really good. Plus, once I Mega Evolve up, I'm going to be able to outspeed Aerodactyl. I'm going to be able to outspeed actually pretty much everything, I think. Just because Mega Manectric is stupidly fast. So I'm going to be able to Volt Switch all over him. Rotom Mo, standard defensive, but again, with that boon of just being able to Volt Switch on everything. So, and another thing, he's not super duper grass resistant. Thunderous Incarnate resists grass, Mandibuzz resists grass, Shandy, well, I guess he is kind of, but a lot of his lower, the guys lower on the list here, Mega Slurber's weak to it, Ambipom neutral, Aerodactyl's neutral, Mew's neutral, Electrode's neutral, Slurpuff's neutral, and Machamp's neutral, so there's a lot of neutral on it. And I've got Will-O-Wisp, again, he's got a lot of physical attackers. Now, Machamp could potentially be Guts, I think, but they usually run, like, No Guard or Iron Fist, I think. Something like that. I like the No Guard set, honestly. So, yeah, and then Pain Split. Just, I'm defensive. I might as well be able to get some health back. Running lefties on that. Yeah, it's a pretty good set. Let's see. Moving on. Okay, so, looking at the rest of his stuff. Now, of course, I already said Mega Slowbro can potentially set up some Calm Minds, and really, if he brings it, he might look at this team and say, like, I'm not bringing that. But I figured if he does decide to bring it anyway and set up Calm Minds, I wanted something that could deal with it, really well. Suicune's going to be that guy for me. Now, I've brought this thing to every game, honestly. It's so good. I usually bring Crocune, but this one, I actually opted to bring something a little different. I'm going with just a standard, or I don't know if this is standard, it's just a defensive set. I'm running specially defensive with Scald, Toxic, oh gosh, what else? Roar, and Protect, and lefties, obviously. Now, especially defensive because even though he's going to be hitting on the physical side with his Psyshocks, if he runs that, I'm not really worried about that. I just want to get this thing Toxic. I'm going to outspeed, because it's Slowbro. But, yeah, the idea of Toxic, if he tries to set up anyway, we can roar him out. That really cripple him. Everything else, he doesn't have a ton of water resists now. Looking at it, Slowbro, I think, is that his only... Yeah, I think that's his only water resist, honestly. So, yeah, that's kind of a thing. Now, of course, like, Mandibuzz doesn't care about that, but I've got enough stuff that can deal with it. Yeah, generally speaking, I don't see a lot of stuff that really does anything about that, and that was kind of the thought process there. Just have some Toxic on it, have some Protect. Basically, that's my way of dealing with, Mega Slowbro. Also, it's a nice little counter for Slurpuff, because if it tries to set up, like, a Belly Drum or something, I can roar it out, and that really ruins it. So, yeah, that's the idea, basically. And, of course, Scald always has that really, really nice burn chance. I'm all about that burn chance. So, yeah, that's cool. Moving on, we are also running Nidoqueen. Now, Nidoqueen is a really cool Pokemon in terms of just really, really versatile moveset, honestly. Its move pool is incredible. It's got access to most good, especially offensive moves. Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, I think. Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Grass Knot, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, it's also got the Sheer Force ability. So that's pretty much like a Life Orb for any of those moves. Now, it removes your secondary, effect chances, but at the same time, like, I think Earth Power has like a 10% chance to lower special defense or something. It's not even something that you care about. And being able to get, like, trade that off for plus, like, 30% power, I'm all about that. I'm throwing Black Sludge on this just because it's a good item for, poison types. Nidoqueen's really bulky, or not really bulky, but it's bulky enough. And yeah, it's a really good kind of tanky set. I like it. I actually kind of like it more than Nidoking. It's actually very similar. A lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, Nidoqueen's the defensive one, Nidoking's the offensive one. There's really not that much difference between the two in terms of stats. Like, I think it's like 10 base points or something different. It's probably more than that. It's not a lot different in terms of stats. And Nidoqueen is actually significantly bulkier, so Nidoqueen's a really good pick in my opinion for this match. Also, okay, so the reason for this is Slurpuff at +6 cannot OHKO a Nidoqueen unless it crits with Return. Now, he might not even bring Return, so that'd be really cool. But yeah, Play Rough doesn't do much, and Drain Punch does even less. Again, even at +6. And I'm just going to be able to kill it with a Sludge Wave. If it already used a Belly Drum, then Sludge Wave just automatically kills. So yeah, Nidoqueen's gonna be really good in that regard. So yeah, I thought that would be a really safe pick. Another thing, it has super effective coverage against Duoblade, which could be something. I don't know. And Machamp doesn't hit it super well. Its fighting stab gets resisted. It might not even bring Earthquake just because ground and fighting are kind of redundant coverage. Sometimes. And then it's something like that. Basically, it fits in really well, I think. And then the last guy on my team is going to be my Zoroark. Now, why do I run around that? First off, Zoroark's ability, Illusion, super good. Second off, gets U-turn, pairs really well with my Volt Turn guys, super good. Third, it has Sucker Punch, really powerful priority move. It's my only priority move on my team, I think. Gonna be really nice. I've got access to Knockoff, and I've actually got access to Taunt, which could be really useful against some of the other stuff like Slowbro and Mew, that sort of thing. I'm gonna outspeed Mew. That's nice. Yeah, it just slots in really well, honestly. So I figured that would be a good option. And again, the Illusion ability, super good. So that's my team. Zoroark's full set. Knockoff, Sucker Punch, U-turn, Taunt. Not good coverage. And again, Zoroark usually gets pretty good coverage. But it's got exactly what I need on it. It's a physical attacker. It hits good. It can taunt things. And it can U-turn. That's really what I wanted. So, this is not a balanced team. I'm going to be honest with you. Nothing about this is like, oh yeah, this is a balanced team. But it matches up incredibly well against Cedric. Now, you guys know, never been my style as 6-0 people. I always play really fast and lose sacrificial Pokemon. I'll, go in, fodder off something to get a good switch. That has always been my style. And if I can play the way I want to, the match will end in less than 20 turns. Ideally, 15-ish. So that's kind of the plan. I'm not going to 6-0 him, probably anyway. But I am going to Volt Switch on him. He can't take too many hits from this stuff, especially my Thundurus, who will outspeed everything he has. And he basically, if I can get some prior damage on stuff, then when I bring in Thundurus, he's going to have to choose what gets knocked out. That's all there is to it. So I think that if I can play well, I have a really, really good chance of winning this game. So let's go ahead and check out what he brought. So Cedric ended up bringing Aerodactyl, Thundurus Incarnate, that is, Ambipom, Mew, Slurpuff, and Chandelure. Sorry, took me a second there. Anyways, that team, let's go ahead and break this down. This is going to be like a little team preview. I'm going to explain what I thought when I saw each thing. Thundurus, it's always been kind of his go-to guy. He really likes using it. It's not really going to have a good matchup against my stuff. Volt Absorb on Thundurus Therian, potentially Lightning Rod if I don't Mega Evolve my Manectric too early, although I Mega Evolve it as soon as I come in. And then, Rotom immune to the Thunder Wave, Nidoqueen immune to Thunder Wave. Like, he can't Thunder Wave most of my team. His electric attacks aren't going to do much to Rotom. They're going to do nothing to Nidoqueen and nothing to Thundurus Therian. If he goes for any sort of like HP Ice shenanigans, that really doesn't do a lot to Nidoqueen anyway. Generally speaking, my team's going to be able to eat that up. Even Manectric, who's not a bulky Pokemon, isn't really going to be too worried about this thing, and I'm going to be able to Volt Switch on it. Of course, it is fast, but I'm faster with Manectric and Thundurus because I'm Scarfed and because I'm stupid fast. Not in that order. Anyways, Aerodactyl. Now, Aerodactyl is not his Mega, so I'm not worried about Mega Aerodactyl. I kind of thought about it when I saw it. I'm like, oh wait, does he have Mega Aerodactyl? I kind of forgot about that. He's actually just running offensive Aerodactyl. Which is fine. Like, it's, not bad. It has access to rocks, which is good. It's just kind of a general offensive guy. It's never been, like, overpowering offensive threat, though, so I'm not super duper worried about it. And I say that with all due respect. Like, it's not the sort of thing that's going to knock out all my guys. Also, he can't really do a lot to, like, he can't do much of anything to Suicune. And if he doesn't carry Earthquake, he can't do anything to Nidoqueen. Um, Rotom, not really going to take a lot of damage from anything it throws at me, unless he, like, crits or something. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, Ambipom. This was something I actually underestimated on Team Preview. You'll see why later. But I figured this would just be, like, a fake-out set with U-Turn, which is the set I usually run if I run an Ambipom. It actually does more than I thought it would. So, interesting. But, yeah, another physical offensive guy on a team pretty much stacked with them. Mew, you never know what this thing's going to do, honestly. But I figured it might have defog or something. Just some recovery. I figured it would be a bulkier set just because that's what Mew does anymore. Although I really, honestly have no idea what this thing's going to be bringing. So I had to be prepared for anything. That said, again, if I beat it up enough, it'll die. If I bring Zoroark in against it, it'll die. If I, Volt Switch on it enough, it'll die. That's the plan. Slurpuff, obviously, going to be probably his biggest threat. I've got Nidoqueen, though, ideally. And I've got Suicune to roar him out if I need to. That's kind of the plan. And then last up, Chandelure. Probably not going to be a huge threat to me, but figured I'd, bring stuff to deal with it anyway. I'm assuming Scarfed. We'll find out. So, anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and swap on over to the battle, and I will see you there. So my opponent leads off with his Ambipom. I'm going to lead off with Manectric, usually a really safe lead. And I'm just going to go ahead and Mega Evolve. I figured he might go Fake Out, but if I got Intimidate off, it wouldn't really matter that much. But he actually just goes straight for the U-turn here. So, obviously, you guys know the whole Mega thing, you maintain your original speed. So, yeah, he was always going to outspeed there. I'm just going to go Volt Switch here, though. Figure that was the safest option to click. And you see his Thundurus Incarnate loses almost half its health. It's going to be pretty much sitting duck here for my Thundurus to come in. I'm going to Volt Switch on this thing. I do not care what he does. If he switches out, something else is going to lose a lot of health. If he stays in, his Thundurus is dead. So that's the plan. So in comes Chandelure. I take off half of its health, over half of its health, with a nice Volt Switch. And I'm just going to go straight into Suicune. This is pretty much my wall for this thing. And it's going to be a really, really good option. He's going to go Shadow Ball. Evidently no Energy Ball. I'm assuming this is Scarf damage. So I'm just going to Scald. It dies. Basically, this is ideal. I could have protected there, honestly, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. I'm, again, assuming Scarf. So, in comes the Thundurus Incarnate. I'm going to go ahead and switch. I go right off into I think I go into Rotom here as he doubles into his Aerodactyl. Interesting option there. I'm not really sure what he was thinking. Maybe he thought I would go into, I genuinely don't know what he thought I was going to go into. But I go into Rotom, and I'm physically defensive. I'm going to be able to eat up that nice Life Orb Stone Edge. I take a lot of damage from it, but I'm going to be able to Volt Switch on him, take off most of his health. We saw the Life Orb. I'm going to go into Thundurus here, and I'm going to kill it. I'm going to do damage to something. That's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch on this thing. He stays in, sacks off his Aerodactyl. Maybe he didn't realize I was Scarfed, although I think he kind of suspected it when he switched out with his Thundurus. Unless he just didn't have anything. I'm assuming he was kind of expecting that, though. So, anyway, Rotom's back in. I figured that was probably the safest thing I could go into. At this point, I'm not super duper worried if Rotom gets knocked out. In comes the, Ambipom. And he goes for the return. He actually knocks out Rotom, which is pretty interesting. So, now I had a couple of options. I was thinking of going into Manectric, which would have outsped him. But I ended up just going into Suicune. Manectric probably would have been a better option, honestly. But we see another return. This is banded damage, and that's actually really threatening. Now, I go for the Sclad and get the burn here. Ordinarily, if I hadn't gotten the burn, I would have protected here, and he wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. I would have been able to live another hit. That's basically the plan. But he ends up, since he's burned, he's going to go straight into his Mew and go for the Heal Bell. I figured that's what was coming, so I was like, whatever, just let him Heal Bell. And actually, I'm going to go into Zoroark here. Now, it's going to be disguised as Manectric. He actually completely forgets that I have Zoroark. It's one of those things that, you just don't think about. And that's actually one of the main reasons I picked it, is just because it's so tricky. with that illusion ability. Now, obviously, if you paying like super close attention, you're gonna know this isn't Manectric when it takes life orb damage. But he actually ends up staying in and setting up some rocks, and he's like, oh wait, yeah, there goes that. And he's also actually gonna take some huge damage here. He goes into his his Thunderous, and he actually just tries to attack it as like a sucker punch and kill his Thunderous. I guess he just completely like blanked on this thing, and he thought I was like a physical Manectric. He actually ended up saying that later. He's like, oh man, that physical Manectric set really messed me up, and I was like, yeah, that was Zoroark, dude. And he's like, what? So he goes into his Ambipom again. It was banded, so that's why he didn't go fake out. And in comes his Slurpuff. He's obviously going to try to Belly Drum here and try to sweep me. But I got the taunt, so we're just going to do that. Now here, I probably could have U-turned. Yeah, there's no reason not to U-turn. Oh, I do U-turn. Sorry, I forgot. I thought I just hard switched. Anyways, go me. I actually made the correct play. And we go into Nidoqueen. And we're just going to be able to kill this thing. Nidoqueen's just going to be able to hit it with a Sludge Wave and win the game for me. Yeah, that player up it does nothing, and yeah, that's game. So guys, we actually are going to end up winning this one. Oh yeah, sorry, return happens, nothing, no damage. Anyway, we're gonna end up winning this one 5-0. This is a huge win for me. Puts me at 3-0 on the season, which is really cool. Yeah, basically this is exactly where you want to be. There are a couple of other undefeated teams so far. As far as I know, Matt is still undefeated, and I think Socrates and Robotnik are both undefeated. They're playing against each other, so one of them's not going to be undefeated anymore, but the other one will. That's basically what we're gathering from that. So there's still a lot up in the air in terms of like who's the power team in the league. I don't necessarily think it's me, but I'm not going to say it's not me. I feel like I could still win against anybody. So, yeah, I think next we're up against Vec, from Vec and Lex Play. He's a really cool guy. He was in last season. He filled in for somebody when they dropped out. And, yeah, I think that, overall, we're doing good. Hopefully we'll be able to beat Vec. He hasn't been doing amazingly, but, the dude's still cool. He's still a good battler. Like, he could potentially pull out anything, so we're going to look out for that. But overall, guys, Shuckles are doing well this season so far, and hopefully we can keep that up. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to check out the main p.i.c.a channel. That's where we post everything, basically. And, yeah, it's a super cool resource for, just keeping in touch with p.i.c.a. So, yeah, that's all I got. I will see you later, guys. Bye.